Hello everyone.
Hello, welcome to another video.
Well, this fabulous building behind us is Whitchurch Silk Mill.
So join us as we take a look around.
We're Victoria and James, and we own a vintage and antique shop called the Little Chapel in Whitchurch, Hampshire, England. Join us on our adventures as we go treasure hunting for items to sell in our shop. We chat to other local small businesses and gradually learn more about the heritage and history of our wonderful country. We'll give you a sneak preview of what we find and show you what it's like to run a small business in the wonderful world of vintage and antiques.
Again.
Hello there.
So we've had a lovely week. It's been beautiful weather and loads of people out, so it's been really nice, isn't it?
So we've been busy around the chapel as well?
We have the new trees out the front.
Inside and out, really.
It looks like a little oasis now when we have all our bits and pieces outside.
Well,
really
we could just keep going and
we've got
put a little lawn down
still
there.
Still got plans, haven't we?
Waterfall.
Maybe not.
No. we need space, don't we? I think we've got all these big dreams and trying to cram everything in here,
and we can't go downwards or upwards.
The only way is down.
Oh gosh.
Dig out a basement.
We started on the door at last as well, as you would have seen, so that's good. So down the road from us, we're lucky enough to have the amazing Whitchurch Silk Mill, which is a real piece of English heritage,
it's a gem, isn't it, really?
It really is.
Yeah.
It's nestled in there on the banks of the River Test, a beautiful spot. They've been weaving silk there since 1815, I believe. So it's a long time.
Couple of 100 years, yeah.
And for it to be a working mill still is amazing.
It's one of the last remaining working mills in the country, isn't it? And some of the knowledge they've got in there as well, sort of the weavers, it definitely needs to be preserved.
Yeah, but it's just a lovely building to have a look around, isn't it?
But especially this time of year as well, sort of, you know, it's really interesting inside, but then outside.
Beautiful grounds.
If you go around the back as well, you're right by the river and have a nice coffee there.
Oh,
and
they've
some
got
cake.
a nice cafe.
Oh, it's well worth it.
And a little shop, which is really nice, so you can take home a little bit of silk.
Oh, and obviously they've got the Jane Austen link
ribbons,
as well, haven't they? With the ribbons.
Yeah.
You always pick some up in there as well.
Yeah, they worked with Jane Austen House, and it's lovely. So we were lucky enough to have Karen, who's one of the very knowledgeable volunteer guides, show us around and just give us a rundown of how it all works. So we're here with Karen at the Whitchurch Silk Mill, and she's going to show us around.
John Hyde, who was a draper in Whitchurch, he had a big draper's shop.
Is that at number 1?
He was in the centre of Whitchurch.
Oh, okay.
He had double frontage there.
Yeah.
He he bought the mill as a project for his youngest son. Now he had 8 sons,
8.
and so he must have been quite a wealthy man to be able to afford to buy the mill for his youngest son.
Just the one, yeah.
So James Hyde took over the mill when his father died, and he ran it all the way through. It was his baby, so to speak. He never got married, and so the mill was his life. And he died in 1956 at the age of 92.
Oh, wow.
And during that time, he didn't have many workers here, only about 10 young women, but he looked after them extremely well. He used to come in every morning before they started work here, and he'd set up the stove and oil everything, get everything ready, and then he used to go home, they thought, for his cup of tea in the morning. They discovered after he died that he was going home to have his glass of brandy.
Was he?
Yes.
Oh, lovely.
Yes. So yes, he still has relatives in the area.
Yeah, and we're lucky to own the building that was his chapel in his garden,
That's
which is
lovely,
really lovely.
A very nice connection. Thomas Burberry was related. He was a brother-in-law.
And he conducted the funeral service in our little chapel.
Yes, because they were all very strong nonconformists.
Yeah.
So
Particular Baptists, I think they called it.
Yes. Well, Thomas Burberry, they made the linings for the Burberry raincoats. 22 different linings they made here.
So Thomas Burberry is buried in the Holy Ghost Chapel in Basingstoke.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so we're going to go and have a look at that.
Interesting connection.
It is, yeah, very.
Yes. Upstairs here is where most of the machinery is, although not the looms. They're downstairs in the weaving shed.
Oh, okay.
These are all the other parts that the mill has done. And to begin with, the mill was not a weaving mill. It was called a throwing mill. Oh. Throwing being the old Anglo-Saxon word for twisting. So it's where they twisted up the threads to prepare them for weaving, because at that stage, so we're talking about, say, the first part of the 19th century, that's when weaving was still a cottage industry, so they could have looms in their own homes, but the preparation of the threads couldn't be done in their own homes because all this machinery up here was involved with that preparation.
Okay. Whose job is it to keep all the machines ticking along?
Well,
because that's quite a lot of knowledge, isn't it?
Our weavers are called weaver tacklers, which means that they are engineers as well.
Wow.
We have a very, very good heritage engineer from Basingstoke who comes in, and he's here a lot of the time. So he's at the moment he's just finished. Well, 18 months ago he finished refurbishing the water wheel. So we have the only heritage water wheel that works in Hampshire now.
Yeah,
that took 3 years.
That's beautiful too.
Yes, it is.
It's
It's lovely
thing. Yeah.
Yes, and now he's refurbishing a loom downstairs, and that involved taking it completely apart, so it's not there anymore. Wow. And then he has to recast all the cast iron parts of the loom.
Wow, gosh, what a job!
Which it is a job. Yes, we have 2 bobbin winders. These were made in Macclesfield. Everything here is Victorian at some stage or other. Yeah. I love these pieces of machinery. So the silk used to come in on hanks like that down there, but it no longer does. It comes in from China via Sudbury in Suffolk, where it's dyed, and it comes on these cones, cylinders.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it's put on pillars. The thread comes up and over the white porcelain bobbin there onto the bobbins there, and then they're wound. Each machine is motorised, has its own motor, so it can wind up to all the bobbins that are in the row along there. This here is our oldest loom, and that dates from 1830, but it's very, very fragile. I have to tell people not to lean on it or they'll end up underneath a heap of timber because it will collapse. Here we have, this thing's called a creel because it's like an upturned boat.
Yeah.
It holds 500 bobbins, and the thread from the bobbins are threaded through this reed and then across to this one where the gaps are closer together, so it pulls the threads in, and then through this little tiny one here. From there it's wrapped round this warping mill here to the length of the fabric they want to create.
Yeah.
By the time you've done that for those 500 bobbins, you have that much width on the warping mill. So you go back to the beginning, take all those bobbins off the creel, put the next 500 on, and do the same process again, by which time you then have that much.
Wow, what
on
a
there.
process. Gosh.
So you keep on doing that until you've got the width you want. And
Yeah.
if it's the full width of a loom, that's 54 inches,
Goodness.
which is 10,500 threads to do that at 500 a time. So
What
that,
sort of time does that take?
that takes 2 to 3 weeks.
Wow.
So I've got a few objects to go through this week again,
Well, as always.
as always.
What do we start with?
So this little object here is an inkwell. And I was trying to find the photograph, where the photograph was taken, and it's in Rome.
Yeah, it's the Palazzo Venezia, the big white palace in the middle of Rome. And these are just tourist pieces, so it's in like a little boat.
A little gondola.
Yeah, Victorian, I think, and they even made them. I've seen ones. I've seen ones with Brighton Pier, and so they made them in England too.
Yeah, lovely.
But this one's made in Italy, and it's a really lovely little piece for a desk
Excellent.
or a bookshelf. I think
Very
it's
nice.
very sweet.
I like this little guy here, this peg, which I believe is a money box.
He is. And he was used for advertising. So Harris Butchers, and I think the date was 1930s. Harris Butchers made these and gave them away. And he probably would have had a little sticker, because some of them had stickers on them saying Harris Butchers.
Yeah.
But there's not that many of these around, because as you'll see, there's nowhere to get the money out.
Yeah, it's not even got a little cap in the bottom,
No.
has it? It's like you just
So
got to
that's-
break it, basically.
Yeah, you have to. It's one of those old-fashioned ones that you put the money in, but although the slot's quite big, you could stifle some out.
Get a knife in upside down, and I used to do that as a kid.
Did you?
Yeah.
Who didn't? Yeah, so he's a lovely piece, and yeah, a few of them around, but not many, because as I said, they used to be broken to get into them.
Look at this little guy here.
I like him.
Little antique sailor, which,
He's tiny.
am I right, that'd be a cake decoration?
We think so. Yeah.
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 What, 40s?
30s or 40s.
30s
yeah.
or 40s,
Yeah.
but yeah. As soon as I saw that, I thought, yeah, we need
A little
to
sailor.
bring him to the chapel.
Yeah, I just made a porcelain.
Yeah.
Lovely. He's even got a lovely little face.
Now I saw a little donkey on eBay. I've got this. I've started a new collection of little figures, like bronze figures.
Lovely.
And I saw a donkey, a picture of a donkey. I thought, yeah, I think that's really nice. I'll order it. So, turns up in the box. Unwrapped him. Here he is in here. I like how it's wrapped in newspaper. It's nice when you get things online and they wrap things up and take care of.
We always do, don't we?
It's always
Take
nice
care to post things.
unwrapping them as well, isn't it? It's like pass the
I
parcel.
always feel like though people getting our parcels might think, gosh, it's a bit of a mission to undo it, but I'd rather them get this. So
Still going?
it is like parcel.
Now at this point I was thinking, oh, this is slightly a little bit smaller than I expected.
Is it?
And at one point I thought, where is it?
Oh yeah. Oh, there it is.
There it is. So then I started on the inner package, unwrapping that.
The tiniest donkey you ever did see. Oh,
I must admit I was...
Even when I've seen him again, he's even tinier than I thought.
I don't know whether you can see that. He's on the end of my finger, but I'll zoom in. But he is literally a little donkey.
Oh, he's adorable though.
But, I mean, because...
And look at all the workmanship in that.
He's so tiny, it makes it into a nicer object, doesn't it? The fact he's so small, but he's really well made.
Oh, he's adorable.
I don't know how they would have got all the detail in there, really.
How
So
are you going to part with that?
Well, I'm not.
Oh.
Well, possibly.
Could be persuaded.
Yeah.
Oh, he's lovely.
But, yeah.
Very nice.
I can show you the silk, where the silk comes from.
Mm-hmm.
So it starts life in the cocoon from the silk moth. Here is the silk moth, Bombyx mori, and that lays eggs on the mulberry tree. It's the white mulberry, which is grows in places like China, Turkey, Brazil, but it doesn't grow in this country. So eventually hatches out and becomes a little tiny caterpillar this big, and within 5 weeks of eating all the mulberry leaves, it's grown to that size.
Gosh.
It then pupates, shrinks a bit, and pupates by having 2 little holes in its head, and from one comes a silk filament, and from the other comes a kind of glue called sericin, and it wraps these in a figure of 8 round its body, which hardens, and that becomes this cocoon. And on that cocoon, there is about a mile of thread.
Wow. Gosh.
It's so fine.
Yeah.
So that has to be unravelled. The old heritage way of doing it was to put all the cocoons in a big vat of boiling water, and then to tease out these filaments from all of them.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was said originally that the Empress of China, about 5000 BC, she was sitting under a mulberry tree and drinking her bowl of tea, and a cocoon dropped into her tea, and with her long nails she tried to get it out again, and in the process it started becoming unravelled because it was softening, and so she started pulling and pulling, and she realised that she had a thread there that could be made use of.
Wow.
But of course Chinese kept it to themselves for a very long time.
Yeah. A precious thing. Wow.
Yes, yes. It was said that Marco Polo might have brought some cocoons out with him. And before that, it was just the Silk Road brought the fabric over from China.
Yeah. What else we got?
Well, this guy.
It's quite scary. We've had one similar, but not with all the holes in his head.
I think we've had 2 of these.
Have we?
I think we've sold 2. Yeah. One had a poem on it, didn't it, at the bottom?
Oh, that was, slightly different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's an ashtray. So, having your cigarette, pop your ash in his mouth, and I originally thought the holes in the top were for the smoke to come out.
Well, they can be, but also some people used to put matches in the head.
So it looked like Hellraiser. Hence his expression, I think.
Yeah.
But I like that. I think I love that object.
Yeah, they're very collectible.
Yeah. Bit Marmite, but...
I'd say so.
Yeah, I'll put him next to the pig.
I love this fish bottle.
That's nice, isn't it?
Lovely Italian.
Shape. Yeah.
It's an old Chianti bottle. It's vintage, made by Seven, and all stamped on the bottom.
Wow.
But how nice just to make such a special bottle for wine.
Lovely.
Yeah, very nice.
I'll perch that over there.
Oh. And on the subject of alcohol, this is from Friends Distillery, which is Belgium, but it's a nice old Now, I'm not going to try and butcher that, but it's something like Hassel's Strupka.
Oh, okay.
And it's, did I have a date on it? We were trying to find the date, but they vary, so, because the distillery is still going in Belgium. But this is an old piece.
Just nice in the kitchen on the shelf.
Yeah,
or
really
a
nice.
display.
Yeah, in great shape.
Lovely colour as well.
Very nice.
So we've got 2 pictures here, which by an artist called Chad Coleman.
English artist.
So limited edition, 28 of 300 issued. So English.
Yeah.
Yeah, English
Chad.
artist.
Yeah.
So one's called Trader's Passage, and then the other one's
Is it Pump Street?
Pump Street. Yeah. Do you wonder? We'll have to work out which town
I've had
they're
a
in.
look and I can't really find out. So
We'll have a look, and I'll put
There's a couple of
little
Pump
caption
Streets
at the
around.
bottom of the screen if we find out.
done a bit of research, but they're signed, yeah, as you said, and
But yeah, lovely, aren't they?
yeah, very, very nice.
Nice colour scheme as well.
Very collectible. And lastly, the sweet little pot, which is I'll just take that off so you can see it better. That's a 1930s Noritake lusterware
Lusterware, isn't it?
with a little bird on it.
A little scene in the
Yeah, even painted inside, and it's
inside. Yeah.
a salt dipper they called it. So I suppose you put a pinch of salt in there.
That's very nice.
Very pretty.
Okay. Wow, another set of items to.
Yeah, it's really hard
Find the way to the
deciding what
shop.
to show each week because we have so much coming into the shop after our buying expeditions. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that.
We've forgotten one thing.
The book.
The book.
I can't even lift it.
Well, you need a crane to lift it up. It's a book on. It's a photographic atlas of England, and
It's amazing.
You can probably hear I'm straining to keep to hold it, but it's full of aerial shots over various towns and cities,
whole of England.
and yeah, it is amazing when you look through this how many fields there are and how much countryside.
Yeah.
I always worry about everything getting swallowed up by new buildings and sort of new housing estates, but yeah, it's amazing just to leaf through. I actually tried to find Whitchurch in here and it took me about 45 minutes. So I had to go back to the back and find the key and then sort of find it, but it's a great coffee table book.
Yeah, it is.
I know a man in New Jersey would like this.
Yeah.
My friend Ross over in America, it's his sort of thing, but I was tempted to send it to him, but I just think the postage would be...
You'd be cheaper to fly with it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, lovely.
What we have got going on here at the moment is working with Jane Austen's house at Chawton to create satin ribbons. This is really to sell the ribbons and to keep this lost skill going of making satin ribbons, which is quite a complicated process, and our weaver is one of only 2 in the country who know how to do it.
How lucky. Oh, that's
Yes,
fabulous.
and so the ribbons will be sold, or are being sold, at Jane Austen's house and here, and to the Jane Austen Society in America, which is very strong society.
It is, yes.
And the colours are inspired by things in the garden at Jane Austen's house.
Oh, how lovely.
And things like her wallpaper in her house and various things. So it's been very nice having collaboration with them because they're a completely different heritage site from here. It's a house, basically.
But it's nice to link it all together,
yes, it
isn't
is,
it?
yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Karen, for all your knowledge and showing us around. It's been brilliant. Really, really loved it. Thank you.
Good, good.
So last week we mentioned that we'll be running tours to antique places around the UK.
Exciting.
Because a lot of people abroad like British antiques and things. So I've been having to think about an itinerary.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to put something together. So I thought we could do a 4-day tour, which possibly could be in autumn for people interested in antiques and vintage, but also history. So Jane Austen.
Yeah.
So we could cover places like Chawton, where she lived for a while.
Yeah.
Steventon, where she was born, in the rectory, which is opposite the church that she worshipped in. Winchester, where she's buried.
Yeah.
And Alton as well. So we covered that in our previous video.
All the little antique shops and second-hand shops and places we know in between.
So it'll be packed to the rafters these 4 days, but yeah, a mixture of all the vintage and antique shops that we know of, finding all the treasure, we sort of know where it is, but then mix it with the historical aspect.
Yeah, and then we'll help you get it home again. Because that's always a worry.
So it's almost working out the logistics of getting things back, but we can sort all that.
Yeah, we can.
So do let us know if you're interested, and we're going to have a bit of a waiting list, I think.
Yeah, by the looks of it.
Yeah. Exciting.
Yeah, it is.
So we've got 25 minutes until we open.
Yeah, so we better get cracking.
Better wrap this one up.
Make tracks, as my mum says.
Yeah, make tracks. We learned quite a lot in the Silk Mill, didn't we?
Yeah, it was lovely to have a look around. Really good. Really enjoyed
really nice
it.
people
And we've had
over
such a good week, so looking forward to today.
Yeah. So next week we are taking a trip to Eversley Barn Antiques. So we're going to show you around there. And also we visit the grave of a very famous author whose book you probably read as a child.
Oh, yeah.
So, watch next week to find out.
Well, thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
See you again soon.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.